Have you ever been driving an electric vehicle and felt that absolute sinking panic when the low battery icon starts flashing? Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Range anxiety. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into the hidden logistical nightmares of EV ownership and, the really cool part, how AI-driven mobile fleets are literally flipping the script on how we charge our cars. It's not just about finding a plug anymore. We're talking about a fundamental redesign of the 21st century fueling infrastructure. Let's get into it.
Here's our quick roadmap for today. We'll start by looking at the reality of EV range and the temperature penalty. Then, we'll check out the current infrastructure gap, dive into some awesome mobile charging solutions, and finally, wrap up with how we actually scale the grid to make this all work. Okay, Section 1, the EV range reality. Let's take a look at the current landscape. 18. That's a pretty wild number, right? Because at the end of 2022, that was the number of electric vehicles competing for a single, solitary public charging port in the US. 18 cars, one plug. Just imagine 18 regular gas-powered cars waiting in line for one single gas pump. It's a massive bottleneck. Despite EV sales absolutely surging globally, cars are hitting the road way faster than we can pour the concrete for the chargers to support them, leaving millions of drivers vulnerable to serious delays and totally ruining their trip planning. Moving on to Section 2. The temperature penalty, and how extreme weather impacts all of this. So, what exactly happens when you throw extreme winter weather at an already strained grid? I want you to think about your own daily commute for a second. Based on a recent AAA automotive engineering study, what do you think happens to an EV when the temperature drops to a freezing 20 degrees Fahrenheit? The answer is honestly staggering, a 39% drop in driving range. Just think about what that means in practice. You are losing nearly half your tank just because it's cold outside. If your daily drive relies on a really tight margin of battery life, a sudden cold snap turns a totally routine trip into a high-stakes crisis. Your range is basically slashed in half, forcing you right back into that massive bottleneck of 18 cars waiting for a single public charger right when you definitely do not want to be stuck outside in the freezing cold. Looking at the AAA testing data here, it paints a really clear picture across different powertrains. Cold weather slashes EV efficiency by nearly 36%. Now, to be fair, this isn't purely an EV problem. Hybrids also take a massive 23% hit to their fuel economy when it gets down to 20 degrees. Both setups really struggle heavily with the chill, but EVs absolutely face the sharpest penalty, which heavily impacts the real-world usability during those brutal winter months. But the absolutely crucial takeaway here: the financial pain. Relying on those incredibly scarce public chargers during cold weather drives your operating costs right through the roof. Check this out. Charging at home in the cold adds about $32 per 1,000 miles. But relying on public infrastructure, that spikes your costs by almost $77. You are paying more than double the cost penalty just to stay on the road when temperatures plummet. So not only are you stressed out about finding a charger, but you're paying a massive premium when you finally do. Yikes. Which brings us to Section 3. The infrastructure gap and the major psychological barriers drivers are facing. Welcome to the charging desert. This is the actual industry term for underserved areas that trigger that crippling range anxiety we talked about earlier. In fact, analysts cite this exact psychological barrier as the single greatest obstacle to widespread EV adoption right now. People are just terrified of getting stranded with no plug in sight. I mean, it doesn't matter how amazing the car is if the driver is constantly doing mental math, terrified they won't make it to their destination because their neighborhood or route is a literal desert for charging ports. And making this anxiety even worse is the stark reality of urban planning. Building fixed traditional charging stations takes anywhere from 18 to 24 months. We're talking permitting, construction, physical labor, grid upgrades, the whole shebang. It's incredibly slow and super expensive. On the flip side, mobile charging solutions can bypass the grid entirely and be fully operational in mere days. No breaking ground, no waiting for a city permit, you just deploy the vehicles and you're good to go. Let's dive into Section 4, mobile charging solutions, and see how this actually works in the real world. The foundation for fixing this mess actually comes straight out of academia. A recent master's thesis from the KTH Royal Institute of Technology lays out a really rigorous framework for something called mobile charging as a service. It totally validates the entire concept of using off-grid flexibility and modular battery systems to meet drivers exactly where they are instead of forcing them to hunt down a station. It's a brilliant paradigm shift. Stop bringing the car to the charger and start bringing the charger to the car.
Now, translating that academic framework to the real world, companies like Be Charged EV are launching an entirely new model. Their Charge as a Service is a membership-based platform that offers unlimited, on-demand mobile EV charging. So you pay a flat fee, and instead of mapping out your entire route around fixed stations, they bring the charger directly to you. Whether you're at home, at work, or out shopping, the infrastructure literally comes to you. It is the ultimate convenience factor.
Here's how their predictive smart charging platform actually plays out in practice. Step 1, their AI monitors your vehicle's battery in real time. Step 2, you get a personalized alert on your phone when your charge gets low. And Step 3, with a single tap, a mobile charging van is dispatched right to your location, long before you're ever in danger of being stranded. It's basically roadside assistance from the future, totally seamlessly integrated into an app. Range anxiety? Pretty much gone. Okay, finally, Section 5, scaling the grid and how we actually meet this massive demand.
Our goal is to eliminate range anxiety by putting the charging power directly into the hands of EV owners. That vision from Be Charged EV CEO perfectly captures the whole mission here. It's about shifting the power dynamics of infrastructure away from static, concrete locations and putting control right back into the hands of the consumer. It fundamentally democratizes the fueling experience for a whole new generation of drivers. What really sets them apart, though, is their elite operational model. They can actually charge multiple vehicles simultaneously. Because of that insane efficiency, they managed to power 250 commercial fleet vehicles across 15 states in just 60 days. That is a staggering speed for infrastructure deployment. A traditional station would probably still be waiting on its very first zoning permit in that timeframe, but Mobi fleets are out there keeping hundreds of commercial vehicles on the road right now. And they're not just stopping at the US border. They are disrupting international infrastructure too, starting down in Mexico City. They're delivering 65 to 70 kilowatt fast charges to local rideshare drivers in under 30 minutes, which drastically cuts their downtime. This proves that mobile charging isn't just some luxury perk for private owners, it's a massive, tangible benefit for the gig economy. For an Uber driver, time spent parked at a charger is literal money lost. Mobile fast charging keeps them moving and keeps them earning. Now, looking ahead, with an aggressive expansion planned for 100 new U.S. cities and a targeted program specifically for those underserved charging deserts called Apex 300, they are rapidly marching toward an empire of 1,000 mobile units. They aren't just adding to the existing grid anymore. They're completely redefining what grid infrastructure even looks like. They're bringing a level of scale and agility to underserved communities that static stations simply cannot match. Which leaves us with a pretty provocative question to wrap things up. As these mobile AI dispatch charging fleets continue to scale up across the globe, will the traditional fixed gas station models soon become completely obsolete? This technology literally flips everything we know about fueling cars right on its head. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this helps you grasp the exciting future of EV charging. Catch you on the next one.